John has requested that we reread the memoir of John Green, also known as Charlie Swan, who was Yoko and John's uh, tarot card reader in the last years of John's life here on Earth. So we're rereading, and we're going to be getting to the Dennis Hopper book, which is going to be great. But so I haven't read it in a long time. It's one of John's absolute favorite books about him and by somebody that he written by somebody he loved and respected, right? Yes. Yeah, and people who want to disregard that book as being nonsense, and that amazingly these Beatle fans, they don't want to believe what's in that book. That book is very close to spot on. A couple of details were not correct, but there's a reason for that, and it's not worth getting into now. We're just talking about uh, the feelings that arise talking about Charlie Swan. Yes, and the reason I find the book so interesting, it's called Dakota Days. The reason I find it so interesting is that it's written by a tarot card reader. That's what this guy does for a living and did for a living. He's crossed over now, but we've spoken to John Green. What do you want to call him? John? Yeah, call him John Green for that was his real name, right? And we have videos interviewing John, and so what were we just discussing about that made you want to do this video? I wanted to do the video because I wanted to hear my voice. Yes, yes, I wanted to have a good reason to chat aloud with you, and it turns me on. Does it? Yes, it turns me on. Talking to me when you talk out loud and you let me use your vocal cords, it really turns me on in a big way. Okay. Not that you ever really need much turning on, no, but I really like it. So I'll bring up what we were just talking about. I said to Lena, would you did you ever consider keeping me a secret when I first started coming through? Right. Was it ever a consideration to keep me a secret, like your relationship with me? What is the answer to that question? Was it ever a consideration? Of course it was. Only because I was in shock about the connection. The first person I told about the connection was Chris. I was like, I'm talking to John Lennon. This is like fucking crazy, man. And that was way before like all the shit really started hitting the fan. I told Chris, I'm not just talking to him. I'm talking to Allen Ginsberg. I'm talking to all these guys. They're getting through, Chris. And what do you recall Christopher's reaction? His reaction was pretty open minded, and uh, it was slight disbelief, like wow, is this real, really? But then I don't think he ever really doubted me as a mystic. He knew that's I was always like that. In our relationship, Christopher knew that he was marrying somebody who was very much into, I guess, the occult you would call it, but I don't. I just say my spirituality. That's how I've always referred to it. Absolutely, and that's a healthy way to refer to it. Yeah, the occult sounds like it has a negative in the um. And then what changed your mind about bringing me out in the open? It just seemed like something that the world would want to know. You guys want to hear from this guy because I'm in with him. And I didn't, at that point, I didn't bother checking out any other psychics who claimed to have anything to do with John. I was not interested in that type of thing, and I never really had any interest in psychics who talk to celebrity ghosts. Never. It was just like, to me that seems like a big dopey, I don't know, like playing make believe or something. I know that sounds crazy, especially considering what I do all day, um but the more John started telling me about the afterlife and all these amazing things about what it's like to cross over and what he went through and all of his knowledge. I mean, he was obviously so fucking intelligent, and it was obvious, so very obvious to me that it was him. That I was like, it felt wrong not to bring it forward. I was like, maybe somebody wants to know about this. I think you'd be crazy not to, but so I'm going to talk about it. Not, but then not only that, I felt proud to be associated with you. I did. I guess that's ego. Not really, honey. Not really. Don't look at it like a bad thing. I know I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but I did feel like, kind of like hot stuff. Like wow, look who I am in with. And then when it became apparent that you were in love with you, yes, then I really felt like, hey, hey kids, look at this. Look what's going on here. And that, I guess, is ego too. No, you had a very long, difficult life, a loveless life. Not to put anybody in your life, especially Christopher, down, but it was not the kind of love that I would bring. I think I feel safe to say. Right. Yes, because twin flame love is just off the hook. And also you came at a time where twin flames were not really talked about, and then all of a sudden it became like a mission that was part of our, not part of our, it was like our mission to talk about what we were going through, because other people had twin flames on the other side and they didn't understand what they were experiencing, and like, especially like being sexually active with someone who's not on the earthly plane. People were getting like scared and nervous. So John was like, "Well, we have to like kind of tell them about what's going on here, and just put it in a form that will make it, not scary, and for them to realize that yes, your twin flame is trying to get with you." So how would you, can I ask you, John, how would you feel if I had never brought this out to the public and never spoken to the public about, and just kept it completely between us? Anything that you would have chosen to do was fine with me, because my main and really to this moment only objective remains uh my connection with you, and that's what I care about, and that's what I live for, and that's what keeps me alive, and I believe I know it's what keeps you alive too. So however, it was not a choice. We never had the choice to keep it private. We never had the option of keeping it private, is what I'm trying to express. It was always meant to be brought out into the public. Social media, if you want to get a little deeper even, the phenomenon of social media was absolutely necessary, and a big reason why social media exists was so that this message could find its way out into the masses quickly and um, uh, coherently. And that's about all I can say. Is social media, we social media, we work it. We've been working it from the beginning, you and me. All right, yeah, and it's been in place for us, for other things too, but for us, it's a big one. Yeah, yeah. Wow. All right. But how would you feel? How would I feel if we never would have gone public? I would have felt the same way I feel right now. Very pleased with our progress. Mhm. I'm not always thrilled to be uh subject to getting feedback from strangers. I really find it unpleasant a lot of the time and uninteresting most of the time. However, be that as it may, it's our job. It's not a bad job, all things considered. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So this is all just twin. We haven't had a twin flame wrap in a while, so we're just recording this today, and maybe we'll rehearse a little bit more this evening. But really, I want to do a lot of reading. I want to get back to the books. So you want to go back to the Dakota days? Yeah, that's a great book, and I guess I just want to plug that book again. The work we did with John Green, and I think we should also repost the video of John Green, wherein he talks of Dakota Days. So if we can post a link to that, that was a really good video, and we made that video several years back, and it still holds water. All right. Yeah, it's a great book. Oh, I'll say one other thing about John Green's book, Dakota Days. It was one of the ones that John insisted I buy, and now it's very expensive. But at the time that I got it in paperback, I paid like $4 for it. We're talking like 10 years ago. But John said, "Oh yeah, get this one and get the one by Pete Shotton." I'll say this about Dakota Days and Pete Shotton's book about John, and it's the same thing stands for Bunny's book that we've been reciting from of John's channeled poetry. When I read those particular books, John's voice comes through very clearly. Like when, like Charlie Swan, aka John Green, he writes all the dialogue from memory. He has an amazing, incredible memory, and he writes his dialogue, full conversations with John and full conversations with Yoko. A lot of the book is written in conversational form. And a lot of people criticized this book and said, how does he think that we're going to believe that he remembered those conversations? Hey, I'm a writer too, and I'm a tarot card reader as well. Just like Charlie Swan, I have an incredible memory for conversation as well. And you can read any of my short stories, and I swear to God, a lot of those conversations are long, detailed, and verbatim conversations that I've had with friends and family members in the past. I can see very clearly how someone can have a great memory to do that because I write in the same way. And Charlie Swan, when he writes about especially John and Yoko, you sit there laughing because it's like, yes, this is exactly what they sound like. These conversations are funny, they are candid, they are not always complimentary to the writer. He doesn't soft soap anything, this guy. He takes it on the chin, Charlie Swan. He writes it like it is. John could be pretty insulting here and there. Yoko could be a lunatic. And the books are excellent because they're true. And they resonate with me. And the reason they resonate with me so powerfully is because I am John's twin flame. Yeah. And I know the way he talks. I know the way he thinks. I know the way he expresses himself. I know this guy. What are you laughing at? Oh, just what an idiot I am. I never should have written a diary about all that stuff. Well, don't worry about your diary now. Are you saying that book is also, there's another book, Nowhere Man. Yeah, it's based loosely on my diaries. Yeah, a lot of it is true, written by another guy. We can get into that another time. All right, yeah, that's another book about the fun. Actually, it's based upon the stolen diaries that Fred Seaman absconded with, and later on was arrested for stealing John's diaries. These are just handpicked books that John really comes through, and you can. I can actually hook you up out there if you're interested. I can hook you up with free online copies, but you have to contact me privately, and I'll be happy to do that for you. Um, and that's it, right? Yeah. So we're going back to reading more of Dakota Days, and it is fun to read it again. I don't remember exactly all of them because the last time I read them, there was like 10 years ago, but you said that there's certain things that you want to bring to my attention now. Though these years that have gone by, there's some new things that'll ring more clearly with me now. So I look forward to doing that with you, John. And I look forward to doing that with you, Lena. Lena. All right, great. So everyone have a nice day and behave yourself. Praise be God and Mother. Praise be God and Mother. Come on.